All right. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. For those of you that are new, welcome to MDLR Fishing. Right now, the Texas coast is being pounded by some bad weather. We've got very high winds, so I've got something a little bit different for y'all today. At the beginning of each year, normally I'm gonna go back through my calendars, and from month to month, what I like to do is compare my notes as each season has passed, and then come up with a game plan on what's going to be the best baits, the best areas to fish, and the best setups to take out there with me. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right on into it. First things first, the water. What type of areas am I looking for? That's going to be deep type stuff. So anything that's 5 feet or deeper, that's what I'm targeting. And then the secondary thing about the water is trying to find that deep water that is going to have soft mud and oyster, because that's going to warm up first as soon as the sun comes up. And then we go even further, and that's going to be trying to find those two first items that butt up against a shallow flat. So you got the deep water, let's just say hypothetically it's going to be a bayou, and then you got a shallow flat right off the bayou. What that allows is for the sun to come up, shine down on that soft muddy flat. Maybe there's going to be some oyster there, and the fish who are taking warmth overnight in the deep stuff, they come up as soon as the sun warms that area, and they start aggressively feeding and retreat right back down to the deep water. So that's what it is that I'm trying to concentrate on. So something like bayous, or maybe some deep quarries or something like that. The intercoastal is known for being deep, and then you've got marsh systems. So don't count out the marsh. I am predominantly a marsh fisherman. That's my bread and butter, and I do still fish them. However, things slow down significantly, so be prepared to get skunked as I do from time to time. And another thing that I want y'all to understand as we progress through the video, this is subjective to my experiences. So it's all relative to the past 5 years of experience that I have gained and I have tracked and charted on my calendars. So these are tried and tested from my standpoint and my style of fishing, so take that with a grain of salt. But if you're here in a learning capacity, thank you and welcome. So next, we've got the setups that we can talk about really quick. It's not some, I mean, whatever you have at home, I'm pretty sure it's going to work. But for those of you that are new, I'm just going to give you an idea of what it is that I'm using out there. And these aren't just isolated to wintertime fishing. But full disclosure, before I even talk about the rods, I am sponsored by Old 18 Outfitters. They are the ones who produce this magnificent rod right here. And the only reason why I'm sponsored by them is because they built me a custom rod. This is built to the specs that I wanted whenever I came on board with them. So a complete new lineup from what they had originally already had. And they built this one specifically for me. So it's a 7-foot ultralight rod, and it's magnificent out there. I've got it paired to a 150 sized bait caster that's spooled with 10-pound braid, and then we're using I think this one's a 12-pound leader. I'm going to use either 12 or 15. I used to use 10 in the past, but 12 and 15 are pretty good to go for the oyster, and that's what we're using right there. This is going to be a finesse style lure. I don't use it as much, but you will see me slinging it out there. Next, we're going to jump up to the light powered rod. Another Old 18 Arius, 7 foot long. Again, 150 sized bait caster that has 10-pound braid and the same size fluorocarbon leader. And let's see, right over here is a medium powered one. So I can sling something that's a little bit bigger, heavier, and we've got the 150 bait caster with a, again, 10-pound braid main line, and this one is a 15-pound fluorocarbon leader. I'm also going to use this season some 20-pound mono. We'll see how that's going to go. We'll throw the FG knot. All of these right here for the 12 and 15-pound fluorocarbon leaders. The connecting knot that I use from braid to the leader line is a uni to uni. I do 4 twists on the fluorocarbon side since it's thicker, and then I do 7 on the braid so that the knot diameters or the knot sizes can kind of equal each other out. So it's a 4 to 7 uni to uni like knot. And then we jump over to the spinning side in case we have some very high winds and you don't want to like bird nest all the time. For those of you that aren't efficient with or proficient with a bait caster, you're probably going to use a spinning setup. This right here is an ultralight Arius, and we haven't made it to a 500 series spinning reel. We've got 5-pound braid on the little 500 series guys, and then we're using the 12-pound fluorocarbon leader. And the other spinning setup that I've got, this one is a medium power Arius, 7 foot long, and we've got a shrimp imitation lure. On my medium setups, I've got 10-pound braid as well and a 15-pound fluorocarbon leader. So that kind of gives you an idea of what it is that I'm targeting these fish for, like inshore style fishing. You don't need anything big or massive. I've used these at the beach, at the jetties, wade fishing, and then kayak fishing in the marsh. These guys will have your back, and in anything from the ultralight all the way up to the medium heavy. I do have medium heavy, but I didn't feel the need to show it. I'm rarely going to use it unless we're stepping up to the big leagues. So last but not least, we're going to talk about the lures, some of the go-to ones that I sling out there, and that's going to be, these are predominantly what I'm going to use. We've got a jerk style soft plastic, another one that you can kind of vertically jig, that's the power bait, and then a supple paddle tail. The main reason why I'm using this right here, it's got a lot of action. This is the original fluke in the bass color. I also throw like a grayish, the magic shad, which I have right here. So these two colors can definitely catch everything that swims out there. Then the reason why I'm throwing this one right here is because it's got some scent to it, so it ups the ante. It's also a little bit smaller for whenever they have lockjaw and they don't want to bite. And then the supple paddle tail, that's a 10,000 fish shimmer swimmer. Full disclosure, I am sponsored by Catchco, and this is one of the softest, like supple paddle tails that I absolutely love using because it has an interior chamber. I pull out that foil and then I kind of inject it with some Procure, the shrimp scent, and that definitely works exceptionally well. For this guy, I'm mating it up with this right here. It's the Storm 360 Coastal GT jig head. This is the 1/8 ounce and it's a 2-aught hook. It mates up perfectly with this right here. And then for the Zoom Fluke and the Berkeley power bait, I'm using these right here, and that's a TT Lures, I think it's called the Ned's Lock. The only issue that I have with these right here is the fact that the hook bend is too small. It's definitely a very stout wire shank, and it's not going to bend out whenever you hook a big redfish, but that hook bend itself, I don't like it. Now, if I were you and you're going to try these methods whenever you go out there, don't try to buy these crappie hooks right here the way I did. They're going to bend out. They're not stout enough. They will fit it perfectly, but that TT Lures hook is definitely the way to go. It also is about the same size as these, but the wire shank of the hook is very stout. And it's also got, I think it's a bigger wire bend on it. So if you find that your like hookup ratio, you're not really being able to stick them, try doing this. You'll take that hook and it barely bend the hook point upwards so that when you set it, it will stick the top of their mouth. And then as long as your drag is set, you should be able to fight them all the way back to the boat. Next thing is, these are going to be experimental, and I'm going to be throwing something like that For the deep water trout, I'm going to cast this out there. This is a Bugs Fishing Lure Trout Thumper. I am sponsored by Bugs Fishing as well, but they make phenomenal lures that are specialized for our area. And if you have the same construct back in your home waters, then give these guys a try. You're not gonna freaking be disappointed. These are phenomenal lures. So this one is to mimic a, what do you call it? A bait fish, and it's the lighter color. The reason why I'm going to light colors is because here our waters start to become a lot more clearer and the visibility is there. So the dark colors I use whenever it's very muddy and you have zero visibility. Another trial lure that is going to be used this season are these shrimps right here. So there's various styles out there. This is one that I am growing a lot of confidence in, and that's a 4-incher. I also have one for the finesse side, which is like 2.5 inches. So those will work. Some that I have tied on, again, trying to learn how to up my game and use different style lures. This is a beefier one, the Mirror lure. This is a Mirrodine XL, and again, bright colors. The light, not bright, but the lighter colors is what I'm going after. And then y'all also saw this one right here, the Corky. That's a staple down here for all the professional fishermen that chase trout. They go after them with that lure, and it's proven to be successful than most other lures that are out there when you're hunting big trophy trout. So why not? Let me try to build some confidence with that. And I forgot to mention these right here. These are tried and tested. This is that Bugs lure again. And these are one of my bread and butters. It's loaded with a curltail grub. It's called the flats grub or the flats bug, but it's got a curltail grub on there. Once the fish bite that off, you can either replace it with more of their curltail grubs, or you can put a paddle tail on there. And that is a phenomenal swimming lure, a bottom bouncing jig. I mean, you name it, it's got all the fish catching characteristics that a lure needs to get even the most feistiest, the most finicky fish to bite. They're gonna take that without a doubt. So those are the things that I am going to be concentrating on this winter. Just wanted to share it with y'all since I have no fishing content. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, and if you found it helpful, please click that thumbs up button. And if you're enjoying the content that I'm producing and you want to help to support my channel, you can do so by clicking the subscribe button and ringing the notification bell icon. Until next time, tight lines, y'all.